Yo, yo, BC in this mug. Port court, Bitcoin business. Rise and grind, time to stack sats. Wake up, hit the block, explorer. See my future looking bolder than a hardware wallet. Cold storage, got that laser focus. No mirage, just hodl age. Fiat full, stay mad, stay salty while my crypto bag's getting hefty. Good morning, crypto. It's a brand new day. Stacking Bitcoin, come what may. Good morning, crypto. Making moves from the basement straight to the news. They sleeping on the tech blind, thinking central banks are so kind. I'm out here building brick by brick. Decentralized future, that's the trick. No permission needed, straight fire. Got that digital scarcity desire. Sets, I want more to the moon, that's what we're here for. Good morning, crypto, it's a brand new day. Stacking Bitcoin, come what may. Good morning, crypto, making moves from the basement straight to the news. Sats, I want more to the moon, that's what we're here for. Good morning, crypto, it's a brand new day. Stacking Bitcoin, come what may. Good morning, crypto, making moves from the basement straight to the news. Yeah, wake the hell up. Charts ain't waiting and neither am I. It's BC Port Corp, and this is Good Morning Crypto. Let's run it. Good morning to the streets, to the charts, to the grind. I ain't sipping no latte, I'm sipping on time. Woke up with the market in a headlock grip. See the wick break out, that's my exit flip. Digital hustle, I don't sleep much. Cold wallet like it just did crunch. Fiat crashing, I just laugh in the mirror. Good morning truth, now the picture get clearer. Yeah, I'm up before sunrise, no snooze on my plays. Whale still dreaming, I'm setting my trays. I ain't here for likes, I ain't here for clout. I'm here for that check when the trend breaks out. I spit blocks, hash rates, having dates. Got alpha in my veins, no time for fakes. SEC lurking, but I move like a ghost. Mixing TA and game, call me the host. This my show, this my tone, this my throne. Good morning, crypto, I stand alone.
Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Good morning, and welcome to Good Morning Crypto, where we turn your early hours in the morning into your edge on financial freedom. Today, I've got a few headlines that I want to talk about. One of those, I saw a car, a pretty expensive car, that was barely used, sell for well below asking price. So I kind of wanted to touch on that, go into what that really means for the economy, and kind of get back to some basic economics on that. But another big headline I saw, Scott Bessent coming out about what we're going to be doing with our tariff money. So, before we get into all of that, you know what I got pulled up in the background? It's that stock heat map. Let's dive on in, get you prepped for some success today. We are seeing a little bit of some red this morning. We do have a few things in the green, but overall, continuing to see some red in these markets after a decent sell-off yesterday. We've got Apple sitting down 0.14% off of its close, continuing to see that sell-off down 0.56 in the pre-market. Nvidia sitting down a whopping 3.5% off of its close. Seeing a little bit of some buying pressure heading its way this morning, though, up 0.4% so far. We got Berkshire Hathaway up 1.42%, continuing to see a little bit of some buying pressure this morning, up 0.1. We've got Amazon down 1.5%, sitting down 0.5% in the pre-market. Eli Lilly sitting in the green off of its close, up 0.74, but looking quite neutral this morning, was sitting down 0.03%, now sitting with 0% change on the board in the pre-market right now. I'll be watching that one today. I've got a lot in the healthcare sector, so definitely looking to do a little bit of buying in that sector of TradFi. We've got ExxonMobil up 0.66 off of its close, looking to the upside this morning, 0.07%, so nothing too crazy, just some light buying pressure. We've got Tesla down 1.75% and continuing to see that sell-off this morning, down 0.15. PNG sitting up 1.72 off of its close yesterday, looking to the downside this morning, 0.25%. We've got Microsoft down 1.42%, looking to the upside with some light buying pressure, up 0.16. We've got Google sitting down 0.88, looking to the downside this morning as well, 0.43%. And we've got Meta sitting down 2.07 and continuing to see that sell-off this morning, down 0.33. Let's hop over to the crypto side of things. Very red over there as well on this daily. We do have a few outliers. Might have to take a look at that Chainlink chart because it's doing a little bit decent right now. Let's scrolling on down. We've got Bitcoin down 1.3%, Ethereum sitting down 1.2%. We've got XRP down 3.7%, BNB sitting down 1.4%. Solana with a 0% change on the board. Might have to take a look at Solana as well. Let me get those on the list. We got Link. We've got Solana. Might be decent for a little bit of a trade. We should all expect that trade that we were targeting to the upside yesterday did not play out. We hit that stop loss and continued to go to the downside. So that trade did not play out. Let's look for a new one. If y'all got any requests or suggestions on an asset we should look at to take a trade together, we can definitely do that. We've got Dogecoin sitting down 1.7%. Taking a spot in the market cap from Cardano after Cardano got that big move up in the market cap, sliding back down 2 positions, sitting down 7.6% right now. We've got Chainlink up 3.6%, Hyperliquid up down 0.5%. We've got Stellar Lumens down 2.1%, SWI sitting down 2%. We've got Bitcoin Cash down 2.7% as well. We've got HBAR sitting down 2.6%, Avalanche sitting down 0.5%, Leo token taking a spot in the market cap from Litecoin, Litecoin sliding down a position, down 0.5%. Let's hop over to those fear and greeds. You know, we talked about this yesterday, getting that move down to that light greed. That's still where we're sitting right now for the stock side of things. Crypto side of things, though, look at that. We are sitting in some fear. I was not expecting the move to fear. I was expecting a move to the neutral range. We definitely got a little bit of some sell-off yesterday. Really dipped us down to that fear area. That might not be a very bad buy signal on Bitcoin. We'll kind of have to take a look at the very macro charts though to get a better view on if this might be a good buying zone or if you might target a little more downside for a better buy. Scrolling on over to that liquidation heat map, we do have some liquidity to the bottom side of us, sitting down at 112,200. If you zoom this on out, take a look at that 3-day where any explosive moves really might take us. We grabbed most of that liquidity yesterday. That was sitting at that 114,200 all the way down to 113,800. That was that area of interest we talked about yesterday. We scooped up all of that liquidity and went a little bit further down. We'll kind of have to see on this higher term time frame what we're looking at for some liquidity now, because we do have a very big hotspot sitting down here at 95,100. We will kind of have to see what areas we hold in between here and there, because I do think there might be a little more downside, but I don't think it's all the way down there. I do think we leave some of that liquidity open for the bear market and then try to just take out some of this short-term liquidity around us before we try to make our way back up to this $1 billion of liquidity sitting up at $126,000. Let's hop over to that economic calendar. We did have some data coming out this morning. Going to be some mortgage rate applications. We teased that yesterday. Scrolling on down, we also get our crude oil stock information. We also, this afternoon, get the FOMC minutes from the last meeting. I will be keeping my eye out on that. I'll probably drop a breakdown in the Discord when we get those minutes. I am looking for some dissent or more agreement on not getting a rate cut. So those are the two things I'm really looking for. We did have a few dissents last time where you had two Fed board members that were favoring a rate cut. We will kind of have to see if they're of the same mind this time. We will be looking forward to September to see if we get those rate cuts. But as of now, I will be sticking with my opinion that we do not see any rate cuts in September. And I've been hounding no rate cuts all year. So we will kind of have to see how that all plays out. Let's get over to that Bitcoin chart. Say good morning to everyone in the chat. Let me add that poll for up or down, and we will see if we can get a trade today. We got up or down. Which direction do we want to take a trade today? Let's see. We got Jesse Gluck in the chat. Good morning to you, sir. Let's see who else we got here. We got Kyle Fields with the yo. Good morning to you, sir. Hope you're having a great day. We got Crypto Badella here. If you haven't been watching Hodl the Line over on CCM's channel or here on my X, for those of you on X, you should definitely be checking that one out. We did a amazing show with LBC this Monday, so go back, check it on out. We've got Dylan VA in here. Good morning to you. Let's see, that's about it for now. Looks like the chat's a little bit slow this morning. People must be getting their coffee in and still waking on up. All right, let's dive into this Bitcoin chart. We got that nice big red candle that dipped all the way through our fair value gap that we were looking to potentially hold as some support. You've got your MACD still pointed to the downside here on the daily, and your prime oscillator still pointed to the downside as well, as that money flow dips into the red. We were barely holding in the green after that nice big push towards the upside, making that new all-time high, and to see a little bit of some sell-off after a new all-time high is not too unexpected. Let's get this chart pulled up to the weekly here. We do see a little bit of some concern here. I know Piper has talked about those bearish divergences here on the weekly and their potential to play out. You do have your prime oscillator with that divergence. You've got your MACD with the divergence as well, as you made those new all-time highs and made a lower high on your MACD and your prime oscillator. Your money flow sitting in the red here. Your volume is holding quite steady. As you can see, all of these are some pretty decent sized candles, so a lot of volume right now. We're just waiting to see if we can get some of that daily time money flow to really bleed over into this weekly time frame, because we've been in the red through most of this action here. So really looking for some switch of money flow here on the higher term time frame that'll get us that next leg up above that platinum pocket and get us to my next upside target of 132,000. If we don't start seeing that and this money flow does start heading back towards the red, I do have another area of interest down here at this fair value gap that is still open from the daily, sitting at 109,800. That'd be that next real area of interest for me if we don't hold that last all-time high, sitting at $112,000. Let's get this zoomed back on in. Take a look at our 4-hour here. 4-hour does have a little bit of some hopium for a break towards the upside. Would really need to get back into this old fair value gap and hold that bottom side as some support. As you do see your reversal signal that has flashed here on the prime oscillator, MACD sitting at a nice little area with that MACD line very close to our indicator line, and getting that curvature back towards the upside, just waiting on some money flow to really come back in. We are sitting at an interesting level where we could really see price get that move back towards the upside if we can hold the bottom side of this fair value gap coming in at 113,600. That's that area I would like to see hold. If we don't hold that, looking all the way back down to that old all-time high where we got those equal candle body closes and 111,800. Let's get this zoomed on in. Take a look at the hourly here. Hourly is getting a little bit of a move towards the upside here on the prime oscillator and the MACD, but doing so with some quickness as price is not moving to the upside with some quickness. So definitely not looking too positive for some continued pump towards the upside, as it looks to be getting a little bit overheated as that money flow continues to stay in the red on the 1 hour here. We are making a decent red candle here right now this morning. We do have some resistance towards the upside of us at 114,200. So if we do get a little more bouncing action towards the upside here, would look at that 114,200, which is the top side of our golden pocket there, to come in as a resistance area. You can see that nice strong rejection below there. We got that nice move below, got a little bounce off of the bottom side of our fair value gap, and saw that golden pocket really come in as some resistance. So that's that next real area. In the short-term time frame, we are looking for some resistance at. I see 75% of everyone is favoring a downside move. So we will kind of have to see what asset we would like to take a trade on. Let me dive into that 15-minute real quick. If you got any assets for me to take a look at to potentially take that trade on, go ahead, throw them in the chat for me. If not, we will take a look at Bitcoin for that potential trade, or Link or Solana. So those are those two assets I was kind of looking at this morning. We do have that MACD here on the 15-minute with some decent curvature back towards the downside, but seeing it with a little bit of some sideways momentum here. We are making on this lower time frame some higher highs and some higher lows as well, looking to potentially bounce up against that resistance at that 114,200 as things are looking a little bit toppy here on both the MACD and the prime oscillator. You've got your money flow barely in the green here, so that nice little target for a short would come in at that 114,200 if we can continue towards the upside just a bit. I see AIOT. Not sure if that's for our trade, but here we like to keep in that top 20 for a trade that we take together. I like to stick with assets that have a lot of money flow. That way we can a lot of money flow and volume. That way we can actually exit and enter those on a limit order. So being able to sell those contracts is actually a big part of that. I like to have that fill and not have to worry about, oh, let me actually just mark it out because our order didn't fill. So I can definitely take a look at those for some TA at the end of the show, though. We got AIOT, and AP13. Never heard of those, but we can take a look at that. Thank you for that, John Naf. We've got Dusty Hunt in the chat as well. Good morning to you, sir. Let's take a look at Link. Jesse says he favors some Link for that. 62% down now. We've got 38% of people favoring a long. So let's take a look at some Link, see where we're sitting at right now. Get this zoomed on in there, making that move towards the upside, back to an old fair value gap there. Let's get this zoomed on out. Take a look at that daily time frame here, getting that nice push back up to our old fair value gap that is still open. I'm assuming that is from the move up. Okay, so this is actually filled there. But getting that nice move up to the midline of that fair value gap, dropping below it, finding some resistance at the 236 here. So waiting to see if this curvature here that we're seeing on the daily really starts to play out. Let me see with this bearish divergence as well. Could get a little pushback down towards our 382 if we can't get above the 236 or hold the bottom side of that fair value gap as some support. That is coming in at $24 for the bottom side of that fair value gap there. AIOT is on the Binance Smart Chain. I looked it up. Market cap is 49.5. Oh, that's quite a small market cap there. That's kind of why I don't like to mess with those smaller ones. You need a lot of demand when you're playing in that. I'm not saying there's not the potential to have a decent trade on it, but I like to limit in and out, and it's a whole lot easier to limit in and out when there's a lot of demand on the perpetuals for that. So that's why I stick with that top 20. Those top 20s are also a little bit easier to do some TA on because I focus on those a little bit more. So I got the confidence in them. You've got your 4 hour getting that curvature back towards the upside as well. So waiting to see if we can get above the 236 right here. That next real resistance area coming in at the midline of our fair value gap and $25.88. So let's see what this 1 hour is looking like. 1 hour looking a little bit toppy there, so definitely a decent continuation towards the downside if we see that resistance coming in at the midline all over again. I see Crypto Billy in the chat this morning. Good morning to you, sir. If you've got those Billy Goat Tails emojis, go ahead and drop them in the chat. Let's see what we're looking at on this shorter term time frame for Link. This 15-minute also looking a little bit toppy here. Would like to see that continue to the top just a little bit more. Seeing two reversal signals, but that money flow's holding a little bit steady in the green right now. Looking like we're trying to make another higher low. So seeing us get some resistance at about that 25.85 might be an area to watch for. Another area right below that would be 25.36. Let's take a look at some Solana. We did want to look at that one as well. It was doing some decent sideways momentum as we were seeing everything else really get that strong sell off there. Let's get this pulled on up to the daily, see what we're looking at. And let me close that pull out. Looks like 70% to the downside. And we will get that poll started for which asset we should take a trade on. Let's see, BTC. We've got Solana, or we've got Link. So let me know what you think for that trade. Start poll. We are making a little bit of it. We made a little bit of a higher high here. And you've got that coming in with a little bit of some divergence here on the daily, making a lower high here on the MACD, making that lower high here on the prime oscillator as well. Really gonna have to watch this money flow. It is sitting in the red right now. Let's get this zoomed on in. Take a look at that 4 hour, because that daily is looking a little bit cooled off, but would need to really watch that short-term time frame money flow here. Let's see, 4 hour sitting a little bit bottomy. You do have the potential for a little bit of a break towards the upside, but that money flow is going to be that big barrier here. So let's see what we're looking like on the shorter term time frame. We've got that 4 hour breaking to the red on that money flow, but your MACD and prime oscillator getting a little bit of some curvature towards the upside. Prime oscillator still sitting in the red as it's getting that curvature back up though. So not looking overwhelmingly positive, as this prime oscillator is sitting a little bit on a sideways move as it gets that curvature back up. There you go. Hourly looking a little bit toppy here, looking like 181 would be a nice little area to see us get some bouncing action off of. Really see if we can get back above the highs from here. 183.67. That'd be that area I'd kind of target for a short. See if we break back down with some strength. We do have an area to the bottom side. That'd be a nice little target for a partial take profit, and then that full take profit down at 168 if those higher term time frames really play out with some strength there. We had that 4 hour looking all right, but that daily looking really toppy there as the money flow breaks to the red. Let's see what that 15-minute in the morning are looking like. A little bit toppy here as well. MACD getting that continued rollover, but sitting with a little bit of some sideways momentum there, and that prime oscillator also getting that curve back over as money flow barely in the green here. So would look for a little more continuation towards the upside, and then that stronger move to the downside. So those are those three assets. Looking like Solana is the winner for now. So we will get that put in at the end of the show, and let's dive into some of this news. Crypto Billy saying he's still waking on up. I saw that you were up at 2 a.m., sir. So I feel the struggles. I did not get the best sleep last night, but definitely awake, a little more awake than you. I've been up since 3:30, so got a little more awake time, and that's helped me quite a bit. I see K Diggity saying Sol or BTC. Oh, did I put? Oh, that's why. Let me get that poll right. Solana or Link or Bitcoin. There we go. I guess I'm not as awake as I thought I was there. All right. Solana, Link, or BTC. All right. Y'all let me know what we should take that trade on. I guess I really wasn't as awake as I thought I was there, but a little more awake than Crypto Billy this morning. All all those ads. All right, let's get this zoomed on in. Man gets a new Lotus Evora, sells below market value 21,400 miles later. Scrolling on down, Lotus ceased production on the Evora in 2021 after 12 years and over 6,000 copies produced. Some of those exciting to drive cars are looking for new homes as we speak, including the one pictured below. This impressive little sports car comes with AP racing brakes, a Torsen limited slip differential, and 19-inch wheels at the front and 21-inch and 20-inch ones in the rear. It has 2+2 seating layout, leather upholstery, heated front seats, and air conditioning, and is some of the equipment reported by the seller. Scrolling on down, getting into the actual article where we see the actual meat and potatoes. Besides the rear mid-engine and rear-wheel drive sports car, the new owner will also get a custom car cover, the service records, 2 sets of floor mats, including the factory ones, and 2 keys. The man recently won this Lotus Evora 400 at an online auction on Cars and Bids, paying $62,500 for it, which is quite below that market value. This is valued at closer to $112,000, basically the price of a Bitcoin. But that big problem that we're seeing is a car is only worth what the market is willing to pay for it. So even though this person was trying to get quite a bit of money, closer to that Kelley Blue Book value, it didn't sell for anywhere close to that. Let's see, Crypto Billy asking how many horses on it. 400 horsepower. So that's why it's the Evora 400. So decent little car. I've seen a few of them. They're valued at over $100,000. But when you're seeing the economy in the state that it's in, people aren't really spending a whole lot of extra money, especially on a unneeded asset like a sports car. You do see that what the market will actually pay for that asset is what the actual price of the asset is. And people often negate the fact that what the market is willing to pay is what the actual price of an asset is. And we're really starting to see that as people have a little less extra money to spend, and when they're willing to spend it on something like this, it really dampens that price. So this, not actually $100,000 car. It's coming in at almost a $70,000 car, as we saw that last sale coming in at $62,500. So just a little something I thought was interesting, seeing sports cars sell for under market value. Kind of reshifting what the market value actually is. You can't always depend on Kelley Blue Book to tell you what the value of a car is. The value of a car is what the market is willing to pay. And as you're seeing the market in some strenuous conditions, that value might be a little bit lower. I'd rather see a Ford Mustang Shelby GT, says Jesse. That's a real muscle car. Yeah, I wouldn't mind a Shelby GT. My pick for a muscle car is the Dodge Charger, or the Dodge Challenger. I've always been very partial to those. I like the Classic, but they've been doing some very nice things with that. US Hellcat will blow it away. 707 horsepower, American made, only 70K. Yeah. I believe this is also American made. Lotus does most of their work down in Texas. They take a car, they revamp it, they sell very limited models of it, and they end up being pretty decent cars. So I know they did another version of a car back when I was in high school that had crazy horsepower. I think they combined 2 cars together to really make it, but these luxury items are really getting hit as the demand for them does not exist anymore. That lowers the price, a little less competition on that, people willing to pay a little bit less, really brings down the value of the car. And you're seeing that across more than just the car sector, housing sector as well. I know there's been a few podcasts that I've watched, people trying to sell their house, and the market not willing to pay what they're asking for. So they're getting underbid like crazy, and you will kind of see that continue until we get a little bit of some cheaper borrowing money through some rate cuts. Jesse, I went to Carol Shelby's 80th birthday party. What an event! That would be a fun one there. That's why I wouldn't mind owning a Shelby GT. They've actually kept with his real sentiment of what he wanted for a car. They didn't stray too far from it. I'm just not a big fan of the Mustang body style, so that's my big problem there. So I would definitely like a Challenger instead. I like that square body look. It kind of a nod to its predecessor, the old school cars. We got new tariffs are generating billions of dollars in revenue, but Besant says that will go towards paying the national debt. Scrolling on down, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent on Tuesday threw cold water on the idea that Americans could receive a tariff rebate check. Bessent, during an interview at CNBC's Squawk Box, said that the revenue from import tariffs would be put to U.S. national debt. I think at this point we're going to be able to do it, he said, noting how the S&P Global on Monday affirmed its AA+ credit rating on the United States. But President Donald Trump and I are laser focused on paying down the debt. Some lawmakers have proposed using tariff revenue to send rebate checks of at least $600 per adult and dependent child. A family of four would end up receiving $2,400 from the federal government. The United States has collected $100 billion in tariff revenues since April, when a large swath of Trump's global tariffs went into effect, according to the Treasury Department data through July. Trump, in touting the potential revenue from import taxes, has floated a couple of uses for those funds. First, to pay down the nation's massive debt, but also to potentially give a dividend to American people. Bessent on Tuesday said the tariff revenue is on pace to exceed expectations. I'd been saying the tariff revenue would be $300 billion this year. He said, I'm going to have to raise that up substantially. I think that we're going to bring down the deficit to GDP. We'll start paying down the debt. And then at a point that could be used as an offset to the American people. So for right now, they are looking to put the tariffs, money that is coming in from tariffs down to pay the debt on the dollar, which would help the strength of the dollar here. As you pull this on up, take a look at the macro here. The dollar has been in a giant downtrend here. You looking in here on the weekly, you've got nothing but lower highs here, lower lows. You are in a little bit of an uptrend here, but nothing too crazy. Haven't even broken the highs from back here in the early 2000s. You did see that massive sell-off during all that economic turmoil, found our bottoming down at 2010 area, and then we started a bit of an uptrend here. We're really struggling to break some of this. A big part of that is the deficit behind the dollar, unable to really pay off everything as we continue to grow more and more debt. We're running at a massive deficit. The dollar is still strong, but it has gotten a downgrade on its credit rating, which really hampers its ability for the US to sell debt to certain countries. That's why you saw Japan selling off a lot of American bonds. You saw Germany selling off a lot of American bonds. You saw China, which was one of the biggest holders of American debt, unloading American bonds. This has caused some more weakness in the dollar, and we're really waiting to see our credit rating getting raised again. And the only way we can do that is to pay down our deficit, that GDP ratio to debt. So decreasing that will help with our credit rating and really give us the ability to sell American debt to these countries, which would also strengthen the dollar again. We are in a little bit of a downtrend as we made that lower high, very equal lows through here, but then breaking below our golden pocket on that fib retracement. Finding a little bit of some strength right now, but really struggling to get back above the golden pocket. So dollar in a downtrend, really waiting to find some strength. Let's see, we got Curtis Hill in the chat. Good morning to you. We got Crypto Pollo in here as well. Good morning. I was chomping at the bit there during the car segment while making my coffee. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed that one. It was just a little news article I had seen. I like my cars. I'm more of a fan of, reliable cars and stuff like that. I don't have extravagant dollars to throw down on $100,000 car. And if I did, I probably wouldn't throw it down on $100,000 car. I'd stick to that, you could buy a Corvette for like $70K and that'll do you really nice. But seeing a little bit of a change in the car market as we're coming into a very weird period of the economy, I felt was a little bit of a signal there. Love Lotus. The car market in general is crashing. Most definitely K Diggity. American company there makes some very luxury cars that are a little more affordable than say a Lamborghini, and will compete with a Lamborghini. But seeing that valuation really come down like that, almost half the price, was mind-blowing to me, because that's a $100,000 car. It only sold for $62,000, and that's quite a shocker. I didn't think the car market was that far off. Seeing something sell for like $80,000 when it's valued at 100, it's a little concerning, but that's a major red flag to me there. Lotus is British. Oh, I guess I had that wrong. I know there's a company down in Texas. Oh, that's what I was thinking. A company down in Texas remade the Lotus, put like 700 horsepower in it. All right, we had a few alt requests to take a look at AIOT. We can take a look at that one. Let's get that pulled on up here. AIOT. Binance. I heard that had the most history there. Oh, nice little uptrend here on the short-term time frame. Getting it pulled up to the hourly. Seeing a lot of resistance coming on in. Let's take a look at the daily here so we can get a nice fib pulled on up. Coming in from that last little low there to our highs. And then we'll zoom it on in. Seeing that 236 coming as some resistance there. All right, let's zoom it on in. Take a look at the 4 hour. 4 hour looking a little bit toppy. We've got that 1 hour probably looking toppy as well. Money flow starting to slow down here as you remain below that 236 on our fib retracement. 382 would be that next real area to target. Would expect that to find some weakness as well with how toppy that 4 hour was looking. Daily was looking extremely toppy as well. You've got your hourly coming in with the potential for continuation towards the upside if you can get some crazy money flow coming back in. But After this massive pump towards the upside, seeing a little bit of some sell-off is not too unexpected. I don't know anything about this project, so I can't really say either way what kind of what kind of metrics it has. Best I can see is it's rated as a buy here, but could definitely see that sell off after that crazy run up towards the upside. 15-minute getting a little bit of some curvature back towards the upside, but this 236 is some local resistance here. That's coming in at $1.69. So seeing that come in as some resistance again, really send these oscillators back towards the downside. Got that curvature here on the MACD. Prime oscillator getting that curvature as well, but it's doing so sitting in the red as your money flow really starts to break into the red there on the 15-minute, hourly, at that point where you could break into some red money flow as well. So you do have a little bit of some areas above the 50% where you could see price hold up at, and that's going to be $1.29. If you do see some continued sell-off in the markets today, looking back down below our 382 at $1.41 would kind of be what I would favor, especially with how quickly this moved towards the upside. Would definitely look for some profit taking, and then a little bit of some bouncing down at that 130 to about 120 level. That's where we see that 50% coming into play. Let's see. The first Tesla Roadster. What about? I heard Tesla's going to be dropping a new model of their Roadster coming on next year. My grandma wants one, apparently. She was talking to me about it when I was down in Oklahoma. Civic, a Jetta, a Spark, a GMC, short bed, and a PT. If you're sad in a Honda, you'll be sad in a Ferrari, says Kyle Fields. Amen to that. That is so true there. The car that you drive ain't gonna change how you feel. AP13 was that other alt request. Not seeing it here. There, let's see. I'm guessing it wasn't this one. So, not finding AP13 must be a very, very small crypto there. So, let's see. We had 60% vote for link on that. I can get back over to that link chart and we will see what we're targeting for a short today. We've got link breaking back below that 236 here. So to find a little bit of some strength here in the short term at $24 and the bottom side of that fair value gap would be an area to watch for. Let's see what we got here on the 4-hour. 4-hour looking like you can make that move back towards the downside if you continue with a little bit of some rollover. We are making lower highs, lower lows as well. Looking like this might be that next lower high. So targeting a little bit down here, coming in 2254 might be an area for some profit taking, and then below that probably the 382 at 2113. We'll kind of have to see how strong of a sell-off we get on link, but after the show ends, we'll put in a low leverage trade and we will target back down to some of those lower levels there. I got y'all on a giant car talk in there. We got BIO from Bob Lornis. We'll take a very quick look and then we will send you on your way to that morning motivational video there. Crypto, BIO. Nice sideways momentum here on the 15-minute. Let's get this zoomed on out. Take a look at the 4-hour. A little bit of an uptrend. Let's get that fib extension pulled up from the lows to the high to the low there. Coming in at the golden pocket as some resistance. That's going to be a 1478 on that. So looking like that's our local resistance. 4-hour looking a little bit toppy here, has that MACD's waiting for a little bit of some continued rollover there. We've we've got your MACD or your prime oscillator getting some curvature back towards the upside, but doing so with that money flow diminishing here. So nice little sideways momentum. Could see that golden push back up towards the golden pocket, and then see that really coming in as some resistance. Let's see what the 15-minute in the morning are looking like. Money flow breaking into the green with some strength here. Nice little bounce off of that platinum pocket. No, the 382 there, and really move towards the upside with some quickness. So prime oscillator getting that curvature back towards the upside here, as you can see, doing so in the red. So I would expect some local resistance again at that golden pocket, coming in at that 14-cent price point, and then seeing if we can target back down towards about the 50% line, coming in at 13.77. It is about that time. It is 5:31 my time, so time to head over to that morning motivational video. Ooh, if you're here on YouTube, you will be redirected over to that. Make sure to tune into the rest of the shows here on the Piper Academy. We've got that morning market report at 10 a.m. That's the place where you get the breakdown of all the data that I tease here in the mornings. And we've got Trading with OC at 8 p.m. Make sure to tune on in, hit that like button, and subscribe so you get notified for all the shows here on the Piper Academy. And until then, I will see you in the chats, and then here again bright and early for Good Morning Crypto. Make sure to wake up, because today's going to be a good day.